Hey nerds. So I got finished watching the premiere of Arrow just a few minutes ago, and it was really good. I think the progression of Oliver from the leader of the team, reluctantly being forced upon the role last season, to this season being alone and kind of feeling the weight on his shoulders again, and not wanting to have a new team, thinking that things are going to go back to normal. I think it's an interesting progression for the character, and I think when we're so far, him teetering back and forth between killing and not killing can probably be a letdown for a lot of people, considering the issue of morality and mortality seem to be in constant flux on this show. And I don't think that's a bad thing, although a lot of people would disagree with me. A lot of people also say that Flash probably had a better premiere. Flash had way higher stakes for its premiere, I would say, because they pulled Flashpoint out of this, even if it was a simplified version of Flashpoint. They had kind of a huge comic book event that is really, really known. They'll really carry the energy of it because it's such a huge, awesome event. Arrow doesn't have that. They're basically continuing on from what they've been doing and what they've been building. And I think from last season, Oliver's transformation of not wanting to fight, wanting to just have a family, to, not ignoring the responsibility he has to being the Green Arrow, but then doing that whole Batman thing and sacrificing his romance, or thinking he can, and then having to, because of the choices he makes. And I think that the new villain is pretty interesting. I don't know if it's supposedly a comic book character. I do like that the guy who played Tyrese on Walking Dead to play this apparently corrupt cop who's very good at manipulating people with force, and is very well spoken, but not a very nice person. He seems kind of like a villain that could be in a show like he's been on before, like, The Wire or something. So it doesn't seem distinctly comic book, although the drama of how he does things and how they've built him up to be such a formidable foe is working in his favor. I do wonder if he's going to remain the big bad for the rest of the season, though. I highly doubt it. The Russian flashbacks are expected, obviously, and it's making me think maybe next season is going to be the end of the flashbacks, because we're getting closer and closer to Oliver being on the island with the beard at the beginning of the series. And I don't know if that means that's where they were originally going to end the series, or what's going to happen. But considering the show's popularity, and I think I heard something about wanting to go for 10 seasons or something, especially because they're building their DC universe up and could do some Justice League-y type stuff eventually. It seems likely the show is going to remain intact for more than one more season, I would believe. That being said, it's very important to populate this world with more heroes. That's why we get the reveal of what Laurel asked Oliver last season, which was, make sure someone steps into the Canary's role. Make sure it's always a Canary. Then, romantically always be with you. And I still hold fast to my claim that somehow they're going to bring her back and they're going to get married eventually. I think they are the original and one true pairing for the show. The showrunners have said it. But that could be up in the air if they change their minds, obviously. But I still have hope for that ship. Also, it's comic books. People come back to life all the time. And now she's like the most famous, one of the most famous superheroes, because she has a statue of her. We don't know about any other statues, although I haven't caught up in Supergirl, so I can't tell you that they don't. What else? It is sucky to see that Speedy doesn't want to be Speedy anymore, although still being able to do the moves and still being somewhat willing to put on the costume if Oliver needs it to the point of death. We can see that it's going to take a lot for Thea to do much crime fighting this season. Actually, there's going to have to be something really big that happens. And I'm wondering if it's going to have to do with the villain we saw just a short cameo of in the beginning of the episode, who was mid-bad last season. That would be Anarchy. So it was cool. They didn't really show much of his face, but it's nice to see he's still around and kicking, and Oliver didn't kill him. Although now that he's on the killing rampage, I don't know. The fact that he actually, it reminded me of the first season, the first episode when he gets kidnapped and he kills the people who kidnapped him. Like, no one can know my secret. It was like the same thing. It was a mirror of that episode. I thought that was really cool. I think they're showing that Oliver is getting back to like how he was feeling like in Russia, like, you know, any means necessary, which it seems like it's going to be. Given the flashbacks and him getting jumped in to be an apprentice in the, I'm not even want to butcher the name by pronouncing it wrong, but this very esteemed Russian gang, just for the chance to kill a Russian crime lord, seems really epic in a really different kind of way, but definitely a kind of way the Arrow can pull off well, and I think would do amazingly with. We'll see how that goes. Him training more heroes as per populating the series with more, or their DC universe with more heroes, I think is great. Mr. Terrific. I don't know if they're going to keep calling this new person the Black Canary, or they're going to give her another type of name. And the guy with the hockey mask, who I wasn't sure if they were saying is the same person as Wild Dog, but I'm assuming Wild Dog is Wildcat's like apprentice. It would make sense, since we haven't seen Wildcat in like forever, and they probably don't want to reprise that actor for that role. Would make sense. But we'll see where that goes. I think I'll end it there, guys. Everyone had some really cool moments in this episode. Actually, the beginning fight sequence was actually amazingly well choreographed. As always, the physical and practical stunts for this show are great. And even the digital shots and the special effects that they definitely need a green screen for were really well done. So I think presentation-wise, it did great. I think character and story development-wise, it was great getting back to know all these characters and where they're at after these 5 months, and really seeing into their heads and seeing what everyone wants and how that's going to push the season. I'll leave it at that, nerds. Hope you like the Green Arrow.